Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. I've been getting a lot of pushback, a lot of feedback, a lot of back and forth, a lot of discourse about my feelings when it comes to the New York Giants and the way that the organization is currently moving. I said it as soon as the season was over. I had a feeling that they were going to keep both Brian Dable and Joe Shane after months of trying to get these guys out of the door. But it is what it is now, and there's nothing that I can do about it. I complained, but now I just want to talk about the why. You see the thumbnail. John Mara is not going to sell the team. Nothing like that is happening. I see a lot of tweets and a lot of posts, and people always say, well, John Mara needs to sell the team. That's not going to happen. The team has been with the family for over 100 years. They're not selling the team. They already got heir parents and all that stuff happening, and I'm going to get into that in this video. But the thing that makes me want John Mara to step down is that he no longer has the fight to be great. He doesn't have the energy. He doesn't seem like he has what it takes to get the Giants over this dry spell, or this desert, actually, if you want to call it that. He's scared of making changes. He's uncomfortable with change. This is the NFL. This is the results business. His grandfather knew it. His dad knew it. Maybe he thought he knew it, but he doesn't. And he doesn't have it in him anymore. Right now, we're sitting here, and Vrabel has gotten the job at the Patriots, right? And it seems to me now that Shane Bowen is not going with Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. And that most likely Shane Bowen is staying with the New York Giants as the defensive coordinator. Even though John Mara himself talked about how he wasn't pleased with how the defense performed. He should have talked about both sides of the ball. But he put an emphasis on not being happy that offenses were able to move up and down the field on this defense. And with that being said, you can go 3-14, lose 10 games in a row, have planes flying over the building. You know all the stuff. And nobody on the entire staff yet, I'll say yet, it doesn't look like is going to pay for that. What kind of message does that send to the players? I know what kind of message it sends to the fans. I kind of got an idea what the players might be thinking. But you as the owner, John Mara, nobody's at fault. You just hope things get better without changing anything. And then you go with what's the definition of insanity? What's the definition of insanity? You know it, I know it, we all know it, and the New York Giants are doing it. Making no changes and expecting a different outcome. And then I'm a bad fan because I'm too negative. Oh, Dash, you're too negative. Why you gotta be so negative? When I was positive, nobody cared, and I was overly positive. I drank the Kool-Aid, I was that much positive. Because I saw some good things. The winning felt good. And then the losing came, and it no longer feels good anymore. And it doesn't seem right anymore, and I can't look past things like I did when we were winning. So John Mara has an heir apparent. They're grooming him up. It's not his son, it's not his daughter. It's his nephew. Tim McDonald. Looks like a Mara, walks like a Mara, talks like a Mara. But hopefully, he's more Tim and Wellington than he is John. That's what I'm hoping for. You see him out there with Shane, scouting players, doing the football things, got a lot of energy. I believe he's only 41, 42 years old, so still a young guy, just waiting for his opportunity. And then I look at John Mara. He's older. I think he's going to be 70 years old. But just in his mannerism, some of the stuff that he says, he can tell you all day. He could tell you all day that he hates losing and nobody wants to win more than me. Well, prove it to me. Prove it to me that nobody else wants to win more than you. Because I know at the end of the day, you get paid every time the New York Giants play. You get paid when you go to sleep. You get paid every time I buy a hat, a jersey, a shirt, a book, a medium Pepsi. You get paid every time that happens. But the people that are paying their hard-earned money, the people that want something to root for, we're not getting it. But instead, you're telling us after 3 years of a regime, 3 full years, so that's free agency, draft 2022, free agency, draft 2023, free agency, draft 2024. We're looking at 2025. And instead of taking the next step, it looked like we took 4 steps back. And we're starting from scratch in year 4 of a regime that's pretty much intact. It does not make sense to me. It does not make sense to me that going into year 4, you're still talking about patience. When in recent history, we've seen other regimes. You know who else is in year? Well, this is their year 4. The Lions, Dan Campbell. I forget the GM's name, but it escapes me right now. They're in the fourth year of their regime. And remember, in 2022, they were 1 year ahead of us in their regime, and we actually made it to the playoffs, and they didn't. But they had something building. They had a plan. When everybody was laughing at them, including myself, for drafting a running back in the first round, drafting an off-ball middle linebacker in the first round. And guess who's the ones that are making the plays for the Detroit Lions right now? That same running back. I believe he's leading the league in touchdowns. And Jack Campbell is probably one of the best linebackers in the league. And I'm sitting here laughing. You can't draft a running back in round 1. And you can't. And guess what they did? They believed in whatever their plan was. They executed it, and they're seeing the results. They had, I don't know how many players injured this year. Did not miss a beat. Aiden Hutchinson, before he went down, was looking like the defensive player of the year. What did they do? They drafted well. They signed free agents well. They made sure their scheme was tight. The team bought into to what the coach was selling them. The staff also on the same page as the head coach. Everybody's moving in unison. And you see the results there. Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. They just lost in the playoffs. Kevin O'Connell and their GM got there at the same time as Joe Shane and Brian Dable. And even though, yes, one and done, okay, they're still making it to the playoffs. Since Kevin O'Connell has been there, they've won, 13 games one season. I believe it was 12 or 13 games a season that we actually beat them in 2022. I forgot what their record was last year. But they're doing it with Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins. Those guys leave. He's winning games with Joshua Dobbs. And you're looking at the Minnesota Vikings like, you know what? They got J.J. McCarthy waiting for his turn. The defense is pretty set up. They do have some older free agents that they need to address. They need to get younger. But at least they have a plan and they're operating, and you're seeing the results. For me, I look at the New York Giants. I look at the 3 years that these guys have been here. And yes, 2022 was a fantastic ride, but we didn't build off of that. We actually went backwards. And then John Mara walks out in front of the beat writers on Black Monday talking about staying with these guys. But they better win. Some people might have called it a playoff clause, whatever. How do you expect these guys to go to the playoffs? You're most likely getting a rookie quarterback. If you're not getting a rookie quarterback, you're getting a quarterback from free agency. Everything is going to be new for the most part. You're going to have to teach a new quarterback the system, unless you're keeping Drew Lock. But the main thing that John Mara, or that the people keep telling us, is John Mara is afraid of change. Well, what does change really look like? Because I know what it looks like now, and now it looks like losing. So change does not look that bad to me. 9 wins to 6 wins to 3 wins. You don't want to change that? You're afraid of that? Or do you not have the energy to start over again? Because guess what? Everybody else is going to have to start over. The fan base is starting over. The coaching staff, they're starting over. This is going to be an entirely new roster almost coming in. Not a new roster, but there's big steps going in. We need to get a quarterback in here. A lot of things are changing already, but you don't want to make the biggest change because you're too afraid and you don't have it in you, Mr. John Mara. That's why I believe you need to step down. If you don't have the energy for an entire overhaul of this team for the greater good in order for this team to be better, and again, I don't know what it looks like. I don't get paid to figure out who the next coach or the GM or the coordinator is going to be. That's not what I do. I'm a fan. What I do is react to what's going on and complain or either rejoice. That's my job. I don't work for the Giants. I love the Giants, but I don't work for the Giants. So if the heir apparent is Tim McDonald and you're grooming him to take over, but you're also too tired to do what it takes in order to make this team great again, step aside, John Mara. I don't know if it's going to be the right decision. Tim McDonald might end up being horrible. But if you don't have the energy, and this young man does, it's time to step aside. To me, you got to step aside for the greater good of the New York Giants. And that's going to be the video, man. Let me know what you guys think about what I just talked about. Should John Mara step down and let the heir apparent take over? Again, if that is Tim McDonald, everybody believes that Tim McDonald is the next guy up. But let me know how you guys feel about that. If John Mara does not have the energy for change, cannot, make it through that, or doesn't want to, make the right moves or make this team great again, shouldn't he just step aside? Enjoy your grandkids and your great-grandkids. Come to the games on Sunday, but the everyday 1925 Giants Drive or Giants Way, whatever it's called, let the young guys take over and do that, or the people that got the energy to make the right decisions and see it through. Make sure this team is right. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.
Rolling on. Big dog, give it up for the big dog.